After a Flintstones-inspired drive home by Homer and Lenny and Carl welding some toxic waste drums shut, with the duo discussing where the toxic waste drums go after being sealed, Carl thinks they should get buried in abandoned chalk mines, while Lenny thinks they get sent to southern states, where the governor's a crook. Smithers and Mr. Burns move in and plan to illegally dump the drums at the local park. It would have been the playground, but too many bald children are arousing suspicion. As Smithers and Burns stuff a tree to capacity, with one tree holding 9 drums that turn the tree's branches into tentacles and causes the squirrel to gain laser vision, they get caught by Agent Malone of the EPA. Mr. Burns gets taken to court, Hannibal Lecter style, and is fined $3 million for his unbelievable contempt of human life, which he easily pays off and even takes a statue of Lady Justice with him for fun. At the breakfast table, the Simpsons hear the news about the $3 million surplus. Lisa wants the money to go towards Springfield Elementary getting virtual reality helmets so students can actually experience history. Bart wants to buy giant mechanical ants to destroy Springfield Elementary and cut Principal Skinner in half, and Homer wants a giant billboard that reads, "No fat chicks!" A town meeting is immediately held so that citizens, ones who aren't busy breaking into people's homes, like Snake Jailbird and his criminal buddies, can decide how to spend the money. Maud Flanders wants the money to go towards hiring more firefighters to put out the perpetual blaze on the east side of town, which Homer finds boring. Mr. Burns, poorly disguised as a man named Mr. Snrub, wants the money to be returned to the nuclear plant. The audience immediately turns on him, and he and Smithers escape Batman style with a grappling hook gun. Apu wants the money to go to spend on hiring more police officers because he got shot 8 times and almost missed work. Chief Wakeham dismisses this as Apu being a crybaby, and Marge suggests using the money to fix up Main Street, which is in extremely poor condition thanks to drivers like Homer driving with chains on their tires and carrying too much weight, while the potholes have become so big that actual vehicles fall in them. Grandpa Simpson goes to object to the Fix Main Street idea, but the entire town takes it as a call to fix Main Street. Before Mayor Quimby makes the vote official, a smooth-talking stranger named Lyle Landley suggests the town buy a new monorail and wins them over with the Monorail song. While everyone in town is abuzz with the monorail being built in Springfield, Marge still believes that the town should have used the money to fix Main Street. At Springfield Elementary School, Landley arrives for an assembly and he wins most of the school over. Lisa tries to ask Landley about the point of having a monorail in a small town, but Landley ends up charming her by complimenting her intellect. While watching TV, Homer sees an advertisement that suggests he become a monorail conductor, claiming it to be a lifelong dream, even though Marge points out that Homer fulfilled his lifelong dream of running on the field during a baseball game, which he did last year and ended up getting arrested and costing Springfield the pennant. Homer signs up for the monorail conductor training course. After a decidedly unintensive 3 weeks of training, Homer is randomly named the monorail conductor. When Homer shows his family the monorail cockpit, Marge finds a family of opossums in the fire extinguisher cabinet. In the place of a fire extinguisher, she pays Lyle Landley a visit at his office to question him about his motives. In the empty office, Marge discovers a notebook and learns Landley's true intentions: to have the monorail break down and leave Springfield in ruins, while he gets away with the town's money and a plane trip to Tahiti. Landley catches Marge and questions how much she saw in the notebook. Marge replies, "Nothing incriminating," and Landley cheerfully lets her go and wonders why he leaves this notebook lying around, unaware that Marge knows his plan to con Springfield and endanger its residents. Marge immediately drives to North Haverbrook, near a ghost town where the only residents are a cackling old lady sitting on a rocking chair on her porch and a traumatized diner waitress who denies that the town ever had a monorail. However, Marge finds one resident willing to talk to her, Sebastian Cobb, a scientist who was hired by Landley to build the monorail. Cobb explains that Landley forced him to cut corners everywhere using bad wiring, installing faulty brakes, having Gallagher as the celebrity on the maiden voyage. Worried, Marge asks Cobb what Springfield should do. Cobb's answer is have a darn good conductor, with Homer, who just locked his keys in the cockpit of the monorail at the wheel. The maiden voyage is doomed. At the maiden voyage of the monorail, the entire town turns out, including celebrities such as Dash Calhoun, who came out of the closet, the Luke Perry-esque Kyle Duran from Springfield Heights 90210, who, despite looking like and playing a teenager on TV, is 40 years old and has pronounced wrinkles and smile lines. Krusty the Clown, who gets accosted by a single mother who begs him to see her son, who looks like Krusty, complete with white makeup and green hair. Lurleen Lumpkin, fresh from her stay at the Betty Ford Clinic and now surrounding like lunch lady Doris due to her drug problems and ruined career. And Leonard Nimoy, whom Mayor Quimby mistook for a cast member of the Star Wars movies and one of the original child actors from The Little Rascals. Lisa tries to get Lanley to ride the monorail, but Lanley instead leaves for his flight to Tahiti with the town's money. The monorail takes off just before Marge and Cobb arrive in Springfield, since Cobb decided to stop for a haircut. At first, the monorail runs smoothly, but the controls malfunction, causing the monorail to speed up and travel at a dangerous speed. Nobody can figure out how to stop the monorail since it runs on solar power, and Mayor Quimby and Chief Wiggum are too busy fighting over how many women each of them get according to the town charter to care that their citizens are in danger, although a solar eclipse briefly halts it. The eclipse ends and the monorail takes off again. Meanwhile, Lanley's plans go awry when the flight to Tahiti makes a brief unscheduled stop in North Haverbrook. He's immediately attacked by a group of locals and is never seen again. Back in Springfield, Cobb tells Homer that in order to stop the monorail, he needs to find an anchor. After seriously considering using Bart, Homer grabs a giant M from the side of the monorail, ties it to a rope, and throws it out the window, just barely remembering at the last second that he needs to also tie the rope to something inside the monorail. Eventually, the M latches onto a Lard Lad's giant donut, stopping the monorail and saving its passengers. As the passengers get off the monorail, Leonard Nimoy says that his work is done. Barney tells Nimoy that he didn't do anything. Nimoy asks, "Didn't I?" and vanishes a la Star Trek. Marge concludes with an explanation that the monorail was the last folly Springfield ever had, except for the popsicle stick skyscraper and the 50-foot magnifying glass and the escalator to nowhere.